You are listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Lean team tonight, Romaran, Emil Nate, and Chino Liao, recording an audio-only Thursday episode because life got in the way. We are all home, but Jasper is not. Babyface producer Jasper is not. Nadali siya ng Carmageddon, nadali siya ng Christmas rush, ng ulan. It was like a double whammy this December.
Triple nga yun eh.
Yeah.
Parang siyang shield bomb. The shield bomb siya ng life.
Yeah, it's terrible. If you're listening to this, we hope that you are, well, not at work, but we hope that you're safe at home. You're not having to brave the traffic and not dealing with the lack of bookings sa transport apps. Like we've been dealing with all week. So yun, it's really bad out there, guys. Somebody has to do something about this. But how are y'all? Let's check in before we talk about wrestling.
Yeah, I just got from a 2-day sick. I got sick this week. You know, just typical flu. You know, took time off from work yesterday, but I'm good now.
All right.
I am recovering from an illness as well.
Yeah, we were at the TPN Christmas party last night. Thank you, TPN, for inviting us.
Shout out to TPN for holding it down last night at District Brewery.
Yeah.
Sa Greenfield area. Got to meet all the other podcasters. A couple of friends from Comedy Manila were there as well. Nakita din namin yung mga boss. And of course, si Makoy Pare and Tito Peach.
Yeah, Tito Peach, yeah. Finally met.
We hung out
si Makoy lagi ko nakita sa events yeah.
Yeah, so we got to hang out. We got to catch up. A lot of these guys we don't really see on the day-to-day. So it was nice na kahit isang araw lang in December, nakita-kita kami sa Mandaluyong.
That's right. Thank you to TPN once again for inviting us to acknowledge din kami as the day ones with the rest of the other OGs, if you will. We also got to network a little bit, so maybe we can get some partnerships and sponsorships out of that. We'll see. Manifest it for us. But speaking of the biggest event that we'll have this December, the last time is now. It's finally happening. It is 3 days away as of this recording. As in super lapit na. The seats are steadily filling up. I think hindi pa tayo nasa capacity, but if you are planning, kung wala kayong lakad on Sunday morning, that's around 9 a.m. The show starts. Come hang out with us. Let's cry together. A couple of big names from the local wrestling industry are going to be there as well. It's our biggest gate in a while that isn't, Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Might not be, doing Royal Rumble next January because it's in Saudi, but we'll see. Link is tinyurl.com/thankyoucena. THANKYOUCENA. Registration is still available as of now, as if you're listening to this like on a Friday or the Saturday before the show. After Saturday, walk-in na tayo. 450 pesos for a ticket with a free iced tea. Walk-in is 500 pesos. So we'll see you guys there, and we'll process our emotions together and watch John Cena and Gunther go at it for one last time. Emil Nate, let us tell the people about how they could sponsor the show or support the show with their membership, and pati na rin yung Converge Netflix plans para dire-diretso mo na.
Diretso na, no? So you could support the podcast in so many ways. First is our sponsorship. So if you want us to plug your product, if you want us to talk about something, if you want me to go on an Emil Nate rant, so you could you can sponsor us. Just hit up our email, hello.wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com for details. And another way to support the podcast is through our Patreon and gang sponsorship. So Patreon, it's at patreon.com/wrestlingpodcast and gangnow.com/wrestling2x5 for as low as $5. you get perks, you get first dibs to everything that we do. Watch parties and all that, and you also get to have the access to our Discord, so which is always fun. To hang out and talk to you guys about all kinds of stuff. From wrestling and non-wrestling stuff. So it's a big help. It's a way to support what the podcast has been doing for the last 11 years. So thank you guys. And of course, again, 2 weeks na lang, no? 3 weeks. WWE will finally come to Netflix here in the
Yes, sir.
Philippines. So if you want, to experience that at its best, 4K na 4K quality na 60 FPS, di ba? So you can experience that at its best by subscribing or upgrading your Converge plan to the Netflix bundle. There are three tiers to that plan: the 17.98, the
Which one do you
9.998, and the
subscribe
two.
to?
I subscribe to the 2298 for the
Oh,
4K. The reason why I
for
actually
the 4K,
subscribe to
for
the
the fucking 4K.
for the 4K quality,
Eh,
Ay,
syempre may US dollars sweldo siya eh.
ay.
Kaya
so
kang
uh,
yakang 4K.
So aside from the free Netflix account, you'll also get to have the experience box. You can watch your local TV there as well. Siyempre, may libre tayong Blast TV doon. So if you still have, if you're watching the NFL, which the playoffs is now, it's, malapit na rin. So you can watch it on Blast TV. So again, you could subscribe or upgrade through their customer service email, or if you have your local Converge area office in your area, you can go there as well, and sila na yung bahala sa iyo.
All right, thank you, Emil Nate. That was kind of tough for you to get through, but you made it.
Yeah,
You made it. All
yeah.
right, let's get to some wrestling.
I Yeah. Let's go.
Start with AEW before we talk about WWE the rest of the way. So it was a big episode. Winter is coming. The Dynamite legs. So there are two legs of Winter is coming. First is Dynamite in Atlanta, and then on Sunday morning, as in Madaling Araw, it will be Collision. Winter is coming from Cardiff, Wales. So that's going to be a big Europe tour for them in the middle of winter, and that's going to be a big episode. But for now, what happened earlier today? First, we have our first ever AEW Women's World Tag Team Champions. The Babes of Wrath beat the Timeless Love Bombs, arguably the favorites of the tournament. Uh, the Babes of Wrath, Willow Nightingale, and Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron's first ever championship in pro wrestling in her career, and Willow's I don't know, latest championship. So, what do you guys feel about this? Was this the right call for the first ever women's tag team champions at AEW?
I
Who
like
predicted
this
this?
decision. Sorry, I like this decision. I'm glad we all got it wrong when we called for the Timeless Love
Yeah.
Bomb to win. This was a good, refreshing choice for a division that is so deep and so stacked. Diba? Sabi ni JCJ in NXT Women's Division daw yung pinaka-deep. Well, I disagree. I think it's AEW's women's division at this point, and I'm glad that we got fresh faces to be the face of this new division that they put up. It's just I don't see this as anything else as them rewarding Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale for the good work that they do. They were putting out solid stuff. Lahat ng gimmicks na kaya nila, all the things that they made them do, they did, especially nung blood and guts match nila. So good stuff for them. I'm glad they won, and I'm glad that they get to be the first champions.
Someone predicted here on our podcast that the Babes of Wrath was going to win. I just can't remember who.
I think I
Meron
said,
dito.
nah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did it. That's what I said.
Okay.
I think.
Alright.
I'll
I
have
said
to
I
fact-
wanted them to win, but I changed my mind. I
Yeah,
remember.
it's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
that. It's probably that. I can't.
That's
I
probably
probably
yeah.
have to fact check myself.
Ayan. But yeah, I am actually surprised kasi yun nga, ever since this tournament was announced, I was saying they're going with the big names. They're going with the big names. That's always TK's MO when it comes to new championships. But I'm glad na he kind of he kind of broke tradition here and awarded it to a team who I think deserves it as well. Kasi Harley Cameron, what a year! This caps off a wonderful year for Harley Cameron. But she started the year with the program against Mercedes Monet, which put her over really. Like that was the program that made her popular amongst the AEW fans. So from there, going to, at this point, winning the tag team championships, it's the next reward for her. Because she really worked her ass off to be better, and she capitalized on the little moments that she was getting last year, and now she's a prominent part of the division. And Willow is Willow, diba? I have been campaigning for Willow to, to become champion, diba? All throughout the year. And now she has a gold of her own. So, caps off a nice year for both of them.
Yeah, actually, my headcanon is that TK saw yung ginawa ng WWE by making Maxine Dupree the Women's Intercontinental Champion, and how beloved that move was, and they decided to go with the Babes of Wrath. But yeah, I agree with everything you guys mentioned. I think it's not an offensive choice. Um, I think either of the two teams that competed for this was going to be an okay choice. Lalo na if you eliminate all the real favorites like Mercedes and Athena and Marina Shafir and Megan Bain, diba? So a lot of good things coming out of that. It is also again a mid card championship for the women's division. So you can literally put anyone there, especially if they're up and coming, and it could be a pretty good experiment in rewarding. Right. Our other point from Dynamite, Don Callis, another big move. He tried to offer Jack Perry a spot in the family. I say the Young Bucks turn him down. Jack Perry refuses, of course. Tapos it resulted in the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega challenging the Don Callis family to a $1 million trios match. So, eto na naman tayo with the money, and then
Jesus.
okay, Emil. So you have feelings. So what do you lay it on us?
Puta. May katapusan ba tong Kenny Omega vs. Don Callis feud na to? Tayo na, they have, Don Callis and Kenny Omega has been feuding since Joe Biden was still president of the United. Wow. They have been feuding for fucking 2 years and there is no end in sight. God, kailan ba ito matatapos, TK?
Yes.
Yeah, like, sorry pero puta na ano yun ako na, all Kenny Omega does is come back, feud with Don Callis, takes a break, and then it's the same cycle. I want Kenny Omega to do something else rather than feud with Don fucking Callis because I am fucking sick of it. Sorry for all the curse words.
Sorry ka na naman. All right, here's the thing. The rumors and innuendo are saying that AEW is trying to limit Kenny Omega's involvement in singles feuds. So, because he has, diverticulitis, he also has admitted to not being 100% physically all the time. So, parang as much as possible, they're trying to pair him in tag team feuds and trios feuds where he can do a little less or a lot less, comparing depending on what you believe. So that kind of explains it, but syempre, it doesn't quite explain why he has to still be in other people's feuds against the Don Callis family. What do you think,
I
Gino?
think
I think the Elite has reunited, broken up, and reunited again throughout this whole fucking thing. It's
so
ridiculous how
it made sense.
Yeah, kasi sobrang haba na rin kasi. Go, Chino. Sorry to cut you off.
I mean, wait. Sorry, Chino, before you go. I mean, the Bloodline has done the same old song and dance. The Usos
No, I'm glad you brought up the Bloodline because I was going to jump off of that and say the Bloodline storyline lasted 5 years. And yes, nagreklamo tayo about that. Pero it can't be as bad as that. Right? We've only 2 years deep. At least ito, kahit paano may nuance pa eh. Kasi
I agree.
they involve the whole family now, right? It's not just Kenny Omega and Don Callis. It's Kenny Omega versus an entire faction, which I think is refreshing. Diba? It's refreshing and it's always a classic wrestling trope for a reason here. I like how they rebranded everything to be this giant faction war. Tapos na yung blood and guts, so they can't really do that there anymore. Pero at the end of the day, when it comes to head, it'll be group versus group, and I like that idea.
What I appreciate about this is that they did do the legwork of establishing yung friendships, yung character developments, the relationship development along the way. Like it's really reductive when you say that they've been doing this, they've been broken up, they get back together. Kenny Omega's been feuding with the Don Callis family for years. Yes, technically that's true, but also it's also true that they did acknowledge, the hard work that comes with the changing emotions and the feelings and sentiments of everyone involved in this feud, in this big story. Like, ito naman tayo. I mean, a lot of people want good storytelling, but then you get served it, and now you're complaining about how it's taking long. It's gonna take long. But it's gonna go back to the same points because you have to show the development of people in the story.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Tsaka kasi isipin mo, it's a weekly show eh. 'Di ba? So syempre hindi mo pwedeng iasa na one and done to when there are 10 people involved, right? Right now, as it stands, there's so many moving parts now in this thing with the major through line of it being Callis versus Omega. Yeah, I get that. Nakakasawa siya. But if you consider sila Kyle Fletcher, sila The Elite, everybody else looped into the storyline, yun dun mo makikita na it's a lot more nuanced than when it started.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, Emil. Before I go off, do you have anything to say to that?
you guys have good points. It's just that I just detest everything that Torgal do on TV. And ang ano kasi, ang problema ko kasi is there's no end in sight. When I say that is that
But
when
there
I
really
say
is
that,
no end in
I
sight,
mean
diba? There's no end until
I
someone retires.
I mean
you know?
what I mean by that is what is the end goal of this feud? Was it to put Kenny Omega over? Was it to put Don Callis over? Parang I can't see it at this point. It's been way too long. Na
I
wala pa
Wait,
tayong
okay. I have an.
na-establish na
I
clear
I think
end
hindi,
point of
to. I
Sige,
this.
think
go
mali kasi
Chino.
yung perspective mo dito, Emil. Eh.
Agree. Go go go.
I don't think it's putting anybody over in the traditional wrestling sense. I think if the rumors are to be believed, it's to give Kenny Omega somebody familiar to work with. He's
All
familiar
right.
with Don Callis. They have history together. Hindi ito nakaka-apekto sa any major storyline ng AEW. Therefore, TK can just put them on the board without it having to affect his grand plan, diba? His major storyline of Hangman versus Samoa Joe or whatever it is at this point. Yes, somebody has to go over because it's a wrestling storyline, but it's not as important as say having Kenny Omega, a name brand on TV. Kasi yun yung nagdodraw eh.
Ang
Right.
akin naman
Right.
is if you're a story aficionado, as a lot of people like to say when they talk shit about AEW, this is them telling a story, and this is them showing that they can tell a story. You know, the end game is to show that there are developments. There are changes, and there are developments or character developments in the people involved in their relations with one another. Diba? It's to show that they can actually do this that they are accused of not being able to do. Diba? I get that. Which I get that you want to see an ending to this. I get that. I totally get that. But syempre, the good part of the story is also in the telling. You know what I mean? So the bigger story may never have an ending. Like I said, until somebody retires. But yung week to week, the smaller month long arcs, I think it's gonna be that's what's gonna end. That's what could end. But yung bigger picture where everyone is related to one another, and where people are trying to exist in the same space as each other, that may never end because it's always a shifting thing. It's always going to be a different feeling, a different sentiment, a different emotion among the different moving parts from month to month, from year to year, even. Diba? So that's why it never ends. And I feel like if you've hated on AEW for not being able to quote unquote tell a story, this is the ultimate. I feel like this is the ultimate rejection of that accusation. Yeah,
Alright.
we talked about this quite a bit.
Sorry
Uh,
about that. That was
no, no,
me.
it's fine.
So,
Uh, it's fine because I'm glad that you brought it up because a lot of people think that way. A lot of people will see the story and will process it the way you did. Pero it has to be said because if you're gonna rag on again, if you're gonna rag on AEW for not telling a story, for focusing on the in-ring action, this is them showing you where that's wrong. And that's how you break it down for them. But yeah, I feel like but to the original point, I feel like this might be the culmination of it because it is the end of the year. It is December, so I feel like they're probably gonna enter January with different stories. You know what I mean?
sana lang. Sana lang.
Yeah. All right, we've gone on quite a bit of a tangent there. It started with some play in Nathan, and then it went to Chino and myself reacting. All right, so let's take a quick break before we talk about the rest of WWE.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the Czar, and you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
All right, let's go to WWE. A lot of things happened on Raw and NXT. First, after not being present on Raw last week, the hooded masked mystery man, as they like to call him, has returned and appeared and interfered in a Raw match not once but twice. So first, interfere siya. Who was it the first time? Can't remember.
Was it Rey Mysterio?
Yeah, Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul.
Ah,
Yeah,
di ba?
Logan
Yeah,
Paul.
yeah,
So it was supposed to be a match, and then it's a main event with Logan Paul and LA
LA
Knight.
Knight.
Yeah.
yeah. Late night.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Is there anything new that we want to say about this? Because clearly they're trying to make, obviously, as we said before, they're trying to make it out to be Seth Rollins, but because he's masked, we know that it can't be Seth Rollins.
All right, I have a wild theory about this, and this might not be just one man. This might be a of group of people that are just appearing one by one at this point. I think Brian Alvarez did share the same theory on Wrestling Observer newsletter to show that they do. Pero especially after Monday where the masked man nagpakita siya dalawang beses, biglang pumasok yun sa isip ko, what if the masked man isn't alone or isn't one man? It's a group of people. So I know that's really far fetched at this point, but we're predicting all these different people as the masked man. But what if all of them, but they're in a group? This is a wild guess at this point. Way too early guess at this point. But now the question is, when are they gonna do the reveal? So are they stretching this all the way to next year, or is this gonna be one of those things that are gonna get revealed a little bit sooner than later? Di ba natin alam?
I think Emil has something here, although I don't really buy into the whole group sila, but rumors and innuendos have stated na yung mask man pa iba-ibang tao just so they can throw us off the scent. So it really isn't just the same guy in the same suit week after week, right? So I get that. I get why they're trying to do that. I don't see why it could be a group because unless both of them appear at the same time or all of them appear at the same time, then it doesn't make sense to suddenly have this new group appear that's working alongside another new group that's been shaken up a bit. Like, hindi makakasira dun sa steam and momentum ng division if they have another group debut alongside them when they aren't established yet. Remember, the only reason the vision was a thing was because Seth was champion. He saw, kaya kasi na tinawag na division, di ba? He had a vision, he executed it, he became champion. Now that he was taken out by Braun Breaker in story, diba? They're still shaken up. They're not really a thing yet unless they have a centerpiece to hold on to. I think that's the title here. So I think the payoff of this mystery man happens at the Raw of the New Year, yung anniversary Raw nila sa Netflix. Because remember, the main event of that Raw is CM Punk versus Braun Breaker. And if there's ever a time for you to have the mystery man up not only appear and interfere but also reveal himself, it would be during that Raw. I'm not discounting the idea that it's not Seth Rollins anymore yet still kasi yes, medyo bobo na pinas pa nila si Seth Rollins kung siya yun. But then at the same time, it's not even, it doesn't dissuade them from doing that, right? It's nothing. Logic, yes, but it doesn't. But when has logic ever stopped wrestling? Let's be honest here. When has logic ever stopped wrestling? So I don't discount Seth Rollins. The chances are low, but I also don't believe Paul Heyman saying na wala siyang association dito sa
Yun.
masked man na to
Yeah.
because for starters, that's also the same exact thing he said when the Shield was
Yeah,
starting to
yeah,
be
yeah.
a thing. Diba?
Yeah, I
So
was
there's history of lying kay Heyman. So definitely a reveal is going to happen dyan sa Raw, sa first Netflix Raw of the 2026 year.
yeah, actually I was about to ask that actually because Emil, do you believe Heyman when he says he has nothing to do with the masked man?
Fuck no. It's Paul Heyman. Gina said it, diba? Dude is a historical liar. So, serious. Taka na lang maniniwala kay Heyman when he says that.
Yeah. Okay. Sige. Sa akin kasi, like, if he wasn't with the Vision, if the Masked Man wasn't with the Vision, he would have attacked the Vision guys too, but he does not. So there's that. All right. Moving on. Related to that, LA Knight is tsunami to end Raw on top of a car. Uh, some people are saying it's a burial. But obviously not. I want you guys to debunk that because I have my own answers, but I want to hear you guys say it.
Puta kala ng iba, mag-expire na daw yung contract ni LA Knight and that's the way to like write LA Knight off. Puta,
It does look like a writing off, eh, diba?
yeah, kasi nga they did this. Yung justification ng people who are saying that is that's the same way they wrote off Ricochet years ago.
Right.
But no, this is not a ito na naman tayo with the yes, gets go. I get the frustration, but they're building up towards an LA Knight payoff here. If they are going to this lengths to take someone out. So syempre babalik yan. And he's gonna be involved with the Vision. I think it's safe not to assume until WrestleMania. So there's a payoff here that is waiting.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry. It's weird that they ended the Raw that way, honestly. Like I don't know who if LA Knight pissed somebody off. I don't know kung may contract status ba siya or what, but it's just a weird way for them to make a statement. Kasi una-una, wala naman bearing si LA Knight sa title picture, which is what they're after, diba? Like so why pull that beat down on him? It's just a weird way for them to end Raw. Kala ko nga lalabas pa ulit yung Masked Man, kala ko lalabas yung Usos, but for them to make a statement on LA Knight, who, like I've said, is pretty much a non-factor at this point, has me thinking that they just don't have anything for him in the future anymore. They're probably giving him time off. They're probably gonna put him on down in the mid card, diba? Something to keep him off the spotlight. Kasi kahit sabihin mong malaking personality si LA Knight, if it doesn't really help the story, then why would you need him there?
so you think they're not going to give him a big comeback pop, when
I
he
don't think so. I don't think how that I don't see how that helps the Vision. Because the focus for me, the focus is on the Vision still. It's the Vision putting themselves over with all the evil that they're pulling through here. So parang ang hirap imagining kung paano magiging significant si LA Knight dito sa kwento.
Okay, because to me they're really just building up LA Knight as a sympathetic hero. But again, wrestling fans are weird, so they also might think that LA Knight's a chump because he got jumped by three guys, about two big dudes and Logan Paul and a masked man. So I guess there's that. All right, let's move on to
Wait,
sorry, go. Well, yes,
Can we talk about how Logan Paul is still with the Vision?
Oh yeah,
Did
yeah.
they
Okay,
ever-
sige, sure.
Did they ever explain that? Kasi ang
No,
pagkakaintindi ko, it's just a Survivor Series thing.
Yun nga, eh, no?
But then Logan is still with them weeks
No,
later.
remember
So what's
last
up with
week
that?
Paul Heyman said or sorry, hindi last week, during this Raw, Paul Heyman said that, the Vision has, or the Bronze rather, the Bronze have Logan Paul's back, and Logan Paul has the Vision's
Yeah.
back, diba? So parang by that statement alone, I think he's with the Vision now.
Yun
Ang
na,
sa akin
confirm
naman
na.
is they also
Right.
didn't say that Logan Paul was just going to be a hire for Survivor Series. So it can go either way. But I did feel surprised that Logan Paul is sticking with the story. Diba? Usually he does a PLE match, the build up to the PLE, and then he dips out. So we don't know for how long he's gonna stick around this time. But if he sticks around for more than 2 months, more than a month, I guess we can officially count him as part of the Vision.
I think they also don't need to have Logan Paul there on a weekly basis. Kasi kung madami sila, you have the two Bronze, you have this masked man, quote unquote, diba? You have Heyman. Logan Paul can just dip in and out, diba? Without actually it being a factor here. So, hindi siya kasing importante as the other Bronze, or maybe even this masked man when he reappears. So, it's not as big a deal as, say, a main event picture na one-on-one lang. Diba? Like your Cody versus Drew or what have you. Kasi pag nawala na isa doon, wala na yung story mo, diba? At least ito, Logan Paul can still be part of the main event picture and not have as the same level of commitment as everybody else.
No, but I disagree with that because I've always advocated for Logan Paul staying and building up a character because beyond the YouTuber attraction, he is really nothing. Kaya if he
I
sticks
mean, yeah,
around,
sure.
hmm,
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Tama. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not saying you're wrong here, but I'm
oh,
saying the logic with adding Logan Paul to the Vision is how I saw it happening here.
okay. But yeah, I hope he sticks around and develops a story and a personality in wrestling beyond his YouTuber persona. All right, let's go to the women's division. We have a new contender for the World Women's Championship. Stephanie Vaquer now has Raquel Rodriguez, and they created a bit of tension among the Judgment Day ladies. Kasi Liv Morgan, when she came back last week, we all thought that she was gonna be the main single star in the women's division. Tapos si Raquel and Roxanne Perez were gonna go for the women's tag team championships. But now that's been flipped in the script for whatever reason, and they are teasing some tension between Raquel and Liv.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it's
the
a
nth time.
Sure.
Because, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I do like that they're going back to the original storyline of Liv Morgan leaving the Judgment Day. Do you remember when
Yep.
before Liv bowed out due to injury, she was being teased as being turned on by the rest of the Judgment Day kasi may turmoil, dinagdag na si Roxanne Perez, and everything was a little murky at that point, right? I was going to say that Liv Morgan being out of action was the best thing to happen for this Judgment Day storyline. Pero ang tagal na wala ni Liv and pinatay na nila essentially yung story na yun. So now at this point, they're just trying to go back to that original point of saying Liv Morgan is out of place in the Judgment Day. It's nice if that actually happens. Kasi, diba, remember how things turned out on Raw? Liv ended up going with Roxanne to the ring. Eh si Roxanne nga yung una niyang kinontra all those years ago in the Judgment, all those months ago in the Judgment Day, right? So it's a little interesting how this is turning out. Now it's looking like si Raquel yung magtuturn pa kay Liv. It's interesting. I can't wait to see where this goes.
You know what? At this point, when it comes to the Judgment Day breaking up, it's a I believe it when I see it type of thing. So they have been teasing this so many
I didn't
times
say the
in the
Judgment
last
Day
2
were breaking
years.
up, Emil. I said the Judgment Day we're just gonna turn on Liv Morgan,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
they've
yeah,
done
yeah.
before on other people.
So yeah, that's also true. Like, I'll just believe it when I see it. At this point, it's just everything. Maybe it's a red herring. Like last week, diba? Like they united sila last week. This week may tension. So ano ba talaga? So it's just a
Well,
wait and see moment
that's
this
how
thing.
friendship groups work, diba? Like if you've been
Yun
together
nga,
long
yun nga.
enough, yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it.
All right.
Exactly.
So,
It's
galit ka na naman
100%.
kasi mahaba na naman yung kwento.
Di naman. When it comes to the Judgment Day, it's just best not to expect anything. Kasi, yun nga eh, they've been doing this dance for 2 years.
Sure. All right.
Now, I have I'm starting to understand and appreciate the Judgment Day a little bit more now. If
Okay.
especially if you consider their origins. Diba si Edge pa nga yung gumawa nitong group
Yeah,
na
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now look at where they're at now. So the evolution is fair. They're a story trope now. They've established themselves as a legitimate faction, which is more than I can say for the Vision at this point, to be honest. They're the thing that exists constantly kasi yung members nila are sliding doors, diba? If you consider all the members throughout the history of Judgment Day, however short it is, never pa silang nag-break up ng tuluyan. There's always just a rotating door of members here, kind of like the Bullet Club. Kind of
Right.
like a Japanese stable here na
Right.
paiba-iba lang yung leaders because they turn on the leaders up to a certain point. So I like how they're trying to pull this off here. I wouldn't be surprised if malaki yung input ni Finn Balor dito sa kwento na to because this is very Japanese style in storytelling.
Yeah, I think Judgment Day is just like the Bullet Club. Like it's become the Bullet Club because Finn is in it, and then Finn has maintained a long roster of members that go in and out. Diba? I think they just evolved it into the answer to the Bullet Club, or Finn's second Bullet Club. I think
Oh.
I think we need not overthink it beyond that.
Yeah, and to think they tried so many times to copy the Bullet Club with the club,
Diba?
the
The
Balor
club, the
Club.
OC,
Oh
diba?
no, see, this is that. This is the
But then it's just so I like how they finally pulled it off. I
yeah.
really like it. I'm starting to appreciate the value the Judgment Day brings to the table here. It's very entertaining.
Kumbaga, the Judgment Day that's the one that worked. They found it.
All right. Lastly, we have a big announcement from the Usos. So the Usos have said that they are returning to the tag team division after their many failures recently as single stars. Jay specifically, because Jay was the one moping during this segment. So Super Serious Jay was kind of moping despite them doing their shtick. Jimmy was talking directly for the team. Uh, a lot of hate, man, going to Jey Uso for this. Parang, you know, people are saying that it was about time because the Jey Uso experiment didn't work. I get that people didn't like Jay's happy-go-lucky gimmick character on the internet, but grabe, I don't know. People are vicious. People are dicks, man. Just because this guy does a gimmick that is geared towards the kids.
Yeah, I don't think the experiment's over yet. Kasi
Yeah.
the fact that he was all mopey and sad
Exactly.
leads me to believe that there's still room for a turn here. He could still turn on his brother. Diba? I could still, yes, we're going to go back to that Uso versus Uso storyline again. But at this point, hindi na siya kasing it's a bigger deal than it was when they were still part of the Judgment Day because they can still both stand on their own this time around. You're talking about a Jey Uso who's a former world heavyweight champion here. Diba? And si Jimmy, it'll give him another chance at establishing another character instead of just being Uso na kalahati lang. Right, so it's a good way for them to still do the turn here, still make Jay a heel. Kasi nakikita mo naman na hindi siya masaya that they had to go back to the tag team division, right? Like you can see it in his eyes. He was still all sad during that promo, so it's still there. I don't discount it fully.
Yeah, this is a red herring. This has Justin Timberlake going back to NSYNC energy here.
Justin Timberlake
yeah.
did not turn on NSYNC though.
No, the I know that, but that's the vibe. No, I really need to do this again? Diba? They've done the tag team thing. They were like 8-time tag team champions. So yeah, this is a red herring. The story here is Jey Uso crashing out, diba?
Oh.
And they're gonna continue that story. And I really don't want another Uso versus Uso rivalry here because they've done it, wasn't that good. Um, Maybe find a way for both of them to turn heel kasi Jimmy's also at that point where parang ano din,
I actually do think
parang
Jimmy's turning heel. I think they know that the Uso versus Uso matchup didn't work.
yeah,
I feel like both of them are turning heel to get their edge back.
yeah, yeah. Turning them heels would, I think, would do them wonders at this
I just
point.
don't like how people are hating on Jey Uso and calling him
Oh,
terrible just because he botches a
yeah.
couple of times. Like people don't
I mean,
understand.
yeah,
Again,
pero then,
sorry, go. What?
sorry, go
Hindi,
ahead. Go ahead.
kasi
No, I was gonna say people don't
people hate.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, gets naman yan. But that's an argument that's been around ever since Jay won the
Ah,
Yeah,
title.
I
Diba?
know.
It's
hindi.
not like it just happened overnight, you know. People, ang
Oh,
ayoko lang dito is na, ang ayoko lang dito is na validate yung haters niya eh. Kasi tayo na, parang binilik niya siya sa tag team, tapos parang sinabi niya, yes, tama kami.
yeah,
Tag team
yeah,
wrestler lang
ganun.
siya. That's what I don't like about it.
I
That
agree. I
because you
agree.
don't want to be validating those type of people. But then at the same time, if it's there to serve a story, and if they just turn on each other at this point, then I'm all for it.
No,
No,
yeah,
the
People,
bashing,
sa,
not the validating. You
that's
know,
actually a
like
good
ah,
just
point
to
by
be.
Chino. That I agree that I did not want them to say the haters were right. But at the same time, you do have to tell the story. Pero wala kang magagawa. People are just gonna be assholes on the internet.
yeah, there's a section of the internet that hates Jey Uso because all he did to get over was to popularize the word yeet, which isn't the case. If you watch the character arc of Jey Uso, you'll understand why he got so over. Bonus na lang yung yeeting stuff, but some people really hate the yeeting stuff. Like they have this great hate on people yeeting. Like, come on, guys, it's a fun
Yeah,
thing to do.
wala. Wrestling fans are gonna be miserable, and people are corny. People don't like the corny stuff because they think it's beneath them. But kids, especially live crowds, especially, they're gonna love that stuff. And anytime you bring in the participation of the audience, wala ka namang ano. Wala, ano, it's a mark of success, and people hate it when they see something that basic and something that corny being successful within the context of a live crowd. All right, before we go to Saturday night's main event predictions, let's talk NXT a little bit. Biggest story from NXT: Ricky Saints has fulfilled the prediction, the foreshadowing. He kind of turned heel by costing Javon Evans his best championship match to date. It was very clear that he was almost about to win. And because he was almost about to win, it was also inevitable that someone would cost him the match. Diba? And this time, it was Ricky Saints. So, nung beginning of the show, Ricky Saints was kind of discouraging Javon Evans from cashing in his shot too early. And then by the end of that segment, he was instigating, he was egging on Obafemi to give Javon Evans a title shot, only for him to cost him the match. So really interesting stuff there. Is this the right move for Ricky Saints? Because much like Jey Uso, Ricky Saints to a smaller degree, to a lesser extent, he was also getting a little hate because of his medyo milk toast face character.
You called it. You called it, bro. You said
I did.
after
It was
nung
pretty clear.
deadline that Ricky Saints was gonna turn heel. Although this is what I don't like about WWE slash NXT booking. You have to turn heel to be interesting. You have to turn heel to find that you find that character that works. Diba? Kasi history tells us that turning heel solves everything. Diba? The Rock, Roman Reigns, sino pa ba? Stone Cold. But not everything needs a heel turn. And with the Ricky Saints character, parang they went back to yung break glass if emergency heel turn. If the face
I
run isn't working, go for the heel run.
So before I respond to that, Chino, go ahead.
I disagree. I think everything does need a heel turn. And here's why. You're talking about you're talking about telling a story here. All stories need change. Otherwise, wala siyang arc and then it just falls flat. lahat ng kwento may arc, 'di ba? There's the rising action, there's the climax, there's the falling action and resolution and all that. You guys went to school, you know what I'm talking about. But essentially, in the traditional storytelling sense, the fact that people need to turn heel to tell a story is important because it allows them to carry on to the next chapter of the story. Diba? If you just continue the way you are right now, like it's in life, if you continue the way you are right now at hindi ka nagbago ng paningin mo sa mundo, then hindi ka mag-evolve. Diba? It's the same way with wrestling and storytelling. If there's no change that happens in your story, then nobody will care about your story. So that's why I think when done correctly, yung heel turn is very important.
I slightly agree with that, but for a different reason. So I'm speaking as someone who did need to turn heel to get better as a wrestler. It's because normally I would agree with Emil that not everything needs a heel turn, but fans love their heel characters. Like ever since the NWO, once we got rid of the Hulk Hogan era, ever since Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, fans just think that being an asshole is much better. And may dating eh. May dating talaga siya. Uh, People don't like the Goody Two Shoes act as much as they do the edgy asshole act. And that's a fact of life. You know, you can cheer for your babyface heroes all you want, but if they don't have an edge, they're gonna flounder in the water. That's why Hangman Page is not a 100% babyface. That's why he has a lot of rough edges to him because they know everyone involved in Hangman stories know that if Hangman was a clean cut babyface, he was gonna get booed out the building, and that's partly why Ricky Saints has to be a heel. You can say, I guess, that the creative failed him. I'm not gonna make jokes about you and the creative team, pero wala eh. Sometimes you just can't find a way to make a heel and have him be cool without making people think he's make a face and have him be cool without people having him think that that he's a heel. You know what I'm saying? So ganun talaga. It's the reality of the business right now. Goody two shoes because everyone is a shade of gray. We're not all purely good anymore, and I think nobody ever was. Naman talaga. Wala, that's just the way the world works. You know what I mean? All right. Anything else before we move on to the next point? No. Okay.
Yeah,
No,
so
they I want to say something about the
Okay.
Javon Evans. They're really milking the hell out of this. They're
Sure.
doing the Sami Zayn,
Ah.
Johnny Gargano arc with Javon Evans, and it's so clear now to me. Now that's the way his run is going,
Right.
diba? And he's gonna be the next big baby face to get that moment, probably at the Mania NXT show.
Right.
yeah, tama ka. It's definitely a clear sign here that this is how they're booking him because they need a baby face, a pure baby face, an underdog. In fact, somebody that everyday people can root behind, root for and get behind. So I like how this is where they're going with Javon. Kasi parang nung una iniisip ko kawawa pa rin siya, diba? At the end of the day, Ricky cost him a title. He ate that power bomb after such a good match, hard fought match. So that was it. Fair enough. The fact that you brought up that they are turning him into the number one baby face on NXT leads me to think na hindi pa siya i-call up without winning a championship.
Right. Tama. Tama. I only hope that they don't go as far as constantly edging the fans with Javon's
Yeah.
constant losses. So I hope that they pull the trigger sometime within the next year. You know what I mean?
True.
Right. One last bit from NXT before we move on to Saturday night's main event. Tony D'Angelo is back again. So he appeared on Deadline. We already talked about that the Monday. And then now he attacked Ethan Page. So I guess he's not focusing on, uh, who was he? See, Ricky Saints, ba? He wasn't focused on Ricky Saints.
Yeah.
Now he focused on someone else. What do we think about this?
Hindi
What
pa
happened
na-explain
exactly?
yung, sorry, yeah. So, for for those of you that didn't see it, Ethan Page came out, did a promo, and then Tony D'Angelo did the whole vignette. Unang-una, this is how it happened. The vignette played of him just walking down. The lights went out. You see Tony D'Angelo standing behind Ethan Page. He does that thing. I forget what it's called. That one-handed power. It's basically like the standing ovation. He does it
Right.
to Ethan Page, and then he pulls out black pieces of torn paper or
Paper. So
torn
it's
pieces of
paper.
black. Diba? Paper siya.
Right.
They haven't specified, goodbye. They haven't specified what it is that he actually does here. They just said na nandun siya ulit. Now, a lot of it still has to be explained. Kasi, yes, they said that it was Tony D'Angelo. Pero they still haven't explained but unang-una, ba't ganun itsura niya. Diba? So far removed from the Dawn gimmick, right? He almost kind of looks like he ate Seth Rollins. Yung ganung vibe niya. And then he also pulls out the pieces of paper a lot. Yung black shreds na binabato niya sa tao after he does his move. So it's a little vague at this point. They still haven't explained kung ano yung motives niya.
Yeah,
Oh.
they still haven't explained kung sino yung nag-approach sa kanya nung nawala siya, di ba?
Oh,
Remember
yun
that
pa.
vignette? Yeah, where
Yun
someone
pa.
approached him and he got sopranoed, where we all
Mm,
thought he got sopranoed. Who was that guy? Who was
yeah.
why is he doing this? Diba? So if that's kung yun nangyari, wala pa, like we don't have anything to talk about here at this point. With the Tony D, it's still did the same thing after deadline. So what is he really? What is he really at this point? Ano ba talaga siya at this point? Diba? Is he a heel? Is he a babyface?
Well, I think it's too early
Is
to,
he after someone?
It's still
o-
too early. It's
obviously
way too
the
early. I
the
agree.
idea is to get us to ask those questions about. That's the idea of the whole thing.
Mm.
So it's too early to declare this vague because it's intentionally vague at this point. So ang akin
Yeah.
lang is again, I'm still not really compelled to want to see the mystery of Tony D'Angelo unravel in front of me on my TV, diba? On my screen.
Yeah.
All right. Before we end the show, we have some predictions for Saturday night's main events. Saturday night's main event. Sorry, the last time is now. 4 matches announced, so I'm guessing the broadcast will be lean and mean. Sakto lang. The rumors are saying that John Cena versus Gunther will begin the program, and they will get
What?
as. That's what they're saying. I'm just telling you.
Open?
Yeah, because they are getting as much time as they want, which is weird because
Para di ba Goldberg?
hindi naman weird, pero more of it comes from the Tony Khan playbook. Kasi TK would do that, diba? If he wants to go an hour long, he'll do it at the beginning of the show and not the last hour. Right, but yeah, first we have NXT versus main roster matchups. So we have a bunch of these hindi sila title matches, although champions are involved. First is Bailey versus Sol Ruka, and Zarya is confirmed to be accompanying Sol Ruka in the match. Are we getting a turn, and who turns?
Not here. I don't think we're gonna get it here.
No.
Alright.
I still do think Soul should turn because she has been a bad friend. But I don't think it's gonna happen here at this event.
I think
Bailey
Zarya
wins.
co- I think Zarya cost Soul. I agree. Bailey wins. I think Zarya cost Soul the victory here. Number one, because at the end of that segment during NXT, there was a little doubt on her face when Soul, hugged her and went their ways. Diba? Parang, "Tara, let's have some sweet treats." All right. Then you saw Zarya just standing there. There's a little deception going on in that face of hers. So parang hindi pa siya 100% convinced na i-forgive niya si Soul. So I think at this point, it might just be on Zarya's side to turn here. So I think she's gonna cost Soul the title or the match, and Bailey wins.
I think Zarya being a bitch is a red herring. Kasi syempre,
Yep.
they're painting her out to be the emotional one, and because she has the face paint, the angas, it's easy to stereotype her as the one to turn heel. But I do think they are sticking to Sol Ruka turning heel because she is the more uh, irrational between the two, diba? Although they could have also changed their plans and gone with Sol Ruka being more popular. But anyway, again, Bailey wins the match. Then we have Javon Evans and Leon Slater going up against the World Tag Team Champions AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Again, it was not mentioned that this was a title match. For sure, it's going to be a showcase. Do we think the NXT kids are going to have a chance here?
All right, here's my prediction about this one. The Raw Tag Champs, no, the World Tag Team Champions win. Sila AJ and Dragon Lee. AJ gets the pin on Leon, and they're gonna set up a match for the AMC premiere of TNA. AJ Styles versus Leon Slater for the X Division Championship. That's what I want. And I think that might be the direction here, but that's what I want to happen.
That's not a bad call at all. See, AMC has been rumored to want and TNA as well, I guess, at this point. Well, has been rumored to want AJ Styles on their premiere, and since AJ is on his retirement run as well, diba? He said that he was retiring in 2026. It might be just the move to do here. Now, I don't like the idea of the main roster sweeping NXT at this point, right? I don't know if how it's going to play out, right? Pero it's not a good look for NXT at this point. Kung kakainin lang sila buhay ng main roster. But then again, I also have a hard time seeing the kids, the young guns beat established tag team like AJ Lee. So it's hard for me to say that Emil is wrong, but I'm gonna go with Emil here.
Normally, I agree with you. They shouldn't be doing a clean sweep of the main roster. Pero wala eh. NXT is still firmly developmental within the WWE hierarchy. So unless they somehow decided to officially make NXT on par with Raw and SmackDown, well, they're always still going to be the kids, diba? It's still going to be looked at as the kids versus the adults. Uh, and literally, Javon and Leon are kids versus the adults.
Yeah.
So there's that as well. If they could give the kids a surprise roll up pin, that would be great. Diba? But I also don't see it happening. Again, I would love that, but I don't think it's going to happen. Then the world champion versus world champion matchup: Cody Rhodes versus Obafemi. Wait, before you guys answer, if there was going to be a surprise NXT win, I would give it to this matchup.
Yep. I share the sentiments with you. But here's how I would do it. Via DQ, Drew interferes.
Sure.
Said he's not technically suspended on Saturday night's main event.
Right.
So Drew's gonna interfere, give over the DQ win, and everyone happy. Everybody's happy with that.
It's kind of yes, puede, but then what does that do for Obafemi? Diba?
It
Does he
gives
go
him an
around saying,
opening
I
to
beat,
no. Yeah, it gives
I
him an
beat
opening
Cody
to go to the main
Rhodes?
roster. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This kind of a disservice to Obafemi. Like if you're gonna have him on the main roster, have him on the main roster, diba? And have him drop the title. But time pa naman din to tell that story. I mean, they still have New Year's Evil, and somebody else is going to challenge Obafemi for that title. So posible pa din mangyari yan. Now, that's neither here nor there.
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London, and you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
A lot of people don't like Gunther in the spot because they have turned on him as a heel. They don't like that he is in the spot. They want other wrestlers to be in the spot, especially if they're younger. And do you do the thing where you piss a lot of people off by having the guy they don't like beat John Cena and retire him? Diba? Personally, I feel like it's going to be a bigger waste, despite the fact that you have someone who is not liked in this spot in Gunther. I think the tournament's going to be a much bigger waste if we come to this moment and then Gunther loses, diba? Parang sinayang mo na eh. You already have him here. Sayang na kung hindi siya natuloy in beating Cena. So that's why I'm calling that Gunther wins and defeats John Cena, despite the reaction. Everyone knows whether Cena wins or loses, he's gonna retire anyway, and that's what's gonna make people sad, diba? Whether he wins anyway. You're not gonna see Cena after this as an active wrestler. So that's the entire idea of this.
I'm going with Gunther. He's gonna make Cena tap out. Mamamanifest ni Gunther yung mga sinasabi niya on SmackDown and on Raw this week. Like the guy who has preached never give up for the last 20 years will give up in his last match. And that's the biggest stamp of approval for Gunther moving forward. Now he made the greatest of all time tap out in his final match. So I'm going with Gunther here.
Interesting. I've been thinking about this a lot too. Like, kung ano yung effect nung pag-tap out ni Cena. Right? And honestly, I'm looking at it with glasses or with tinted frames on, kung ano mang kulay ng frames at all, because I don't want to see it happen. So I'm going with John Cena. And yes, it goes against the edict of the guy going out, putting young guys over, diba? That old wrestling saying that they have there. But at the same time, you can still give Gunther the rub without having to lose to Gunther. He was Cena's last match. He took Cena to the limit, diba? Almost made Cena tap out. Now Cena, because he's Cena, pulled one out, diba? Gunther still wins without actually winning, and Cena still gets to go out as John Cena, right? Hindi na siya yung parang dati na kailangan mo gawin yun. Because remember, Sting, who in his very last match,
yeah.
still won, right? That was his
Be
last
fair,
match,
yes.
and he still
Yes.
went out as champion. So parang the fact that it's a thing that can actually happen now, it doesn't totally discount the fact na mananalo si John Cena dito. So I'm going to go with John Cena.
Kumbaga, you're saying na you're saying na Gunther just being in this position, that's already like a big win for him.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Right.
Right, that is it for our Saturday night's main event predictions. Tickets are still available. May slots pa, marami pa. We're not at capacity yet at Skinny Mike's this Sunday, December 14. tinyurl.com/thank you Cena, 450 pesos for early bird tickets. After Saturday, it's going to be 500 pesos for a walk-in ticket. Both tickets still have free iced teas, one iced tea that comes with it. Right, before we end, it's time for plugs. Chino, what do you have going on at the end of the year?
Yeah, so the Class Down podcast, my podcast is still going strong. I have a new episode coming out this week, and it focuses on all the different venues sa Metro Manila, particularly sa Moe's in Quezon City, and I talked to Tim Nang, the owner and proprietor of Moe's QC, about that, and a lot more things as well. Medyo may wrestling adjacent din siyang personalities, so we talk about that as well on the podcast. Also, for myself, just follow me on social media at Chino Supersized, especially on TikTok, because we need to fight the haters. At Chino Supersized for everything.
Emil, you have anything?
No plugs for me. Again, the watch party for the last Cena show still available, and enjoy guys. Yung pupunta dun on this Sunday. Sorry.
Alright, sige. One last plug. The World Underground Wrestling Philippines Fight Night 2 is happening on Sunday night. So if you have nothing going on, kung wala kayong Christmas party, you're near QC, it's not traffic, come to Brawl Pit Bulusan. It's pay what you can. It's a wrestling show, but it's gonna be more of a party because I may beer. I think the crowd will be allowed to come a little bit closer to the ring, and you get to see all the action up close. All right. Thank you to Babyface producer Jasper for going through this episode and editing out the shitty parts, the unstable connections that happened unexpectedly. And thank you again to the Pod Network for inviting us to your Christmas party yesterday as we recorded this. Thank you to everyone who's making it work. Still happy to be a part of the Pod Network. If you want to be part of the conversation, it is at Wrestling2X Pod on Twitter, Blue Sky, and TikTok, at Wrestling Podcast on Instagram, Threads, and Facebook. For myself, it is at Rose War on Twitter, at Shang.Daddy on Threads and Instagram and TikTok, at EML_Meister for Emil, at Chino Supersize for Chino, at _Stancy for Stan. Till then, we'll see you guys hopefully on Monday. We are gonna have a John Cena retrospective. I'm not sure yet kung live stream siya kasi it will also depend on whether Jasper gets home, and in this Christmas rush, that is gonna be a little less likely than ever. So whether or not we see you on the live on a live stream this Monday, or we give you an audio only episode, we'll see you early next week. Right? Till then, please stay safe. Stay safe from Carmageddon. Stay dry from the rain. Enjoy your 13th month or Christmas bonus kung meron na. And do not be a dick. Wrestling Podcast out. Later, Outcasts. Peace.